I just bought myself a Lamborghini Murcielago with a problem that nobody's been able to fix for around 7 years. And for that reason, I thought that this was a bargain. But you're about to find out why that might not necessarily be the case. So you probably saw the video where I got invited down to Everyman Racing because they had 2 Murcielagos which have sat there for 7 years. And here we have a Lamborghini Murcielago. Now I don't know about you, but I believe everything happens for a reason. So when I've got the opportunity to potentially buy a cheap Murcielago which needs a little amount of work, I jumped at the opportunity. I've always dreamt of owning a Murcielago. It's just been that poster car since I could ever remember. Seeing the car in so many films and hearing that V12 roar, it's something that just built up my desire more and more. I've just never been in the position to buy one. And to be honest, I'm still not now, which is why it makes this decision even more riskier.
Oh, is that it? Right.
We arrived at Everyman Racing. To the left-hand side of the screen is Dave from DTB Motorsport, and behind the camera is Hannah. Both of them have came with me to keep my head level because it's easy to get overexcited about these things and pull the trigger on the Murcielago just because I want it.
What are you thinking, Matt? Do you still like it?
It's great. It's everything I ever dreamed of. And out comes the engine. Now, if you did watch the previous video, you're probably really confused right now because I had the choice of 2 Murcielagos. And as you can see, I've gone for the one which was in the worst condition. But I'll explain later why I did this. For now, it's time to load the car up. As the Murcielago has no engine and no gearbox in it, we had to do a team effort and push it onto the trailer. And if you know these Lamborghinis, then you know they're a lot wider at the back. So we had to improvise with this by using a trolley jack just to lift up the rear of the car to get it on. Well, this is not the way I expected to buy a Murcielago, but either way, I bought one. Like that. 7 years worth of dust on that. That's the easy part though. And now with the Mercy loaded onto the trailer, we can take it from the unit where it sat for 7 years back home. Okay. Now I know a lot of you probably think I've completely lost the plot. In fact, you already know I lost the plot. But sometimes you buy cars with your heart and not with your head, because this is most definitely the biggest project that we've ever taken on. And I know I say that every single time, but each one tops the last one. There is a whole lot of room for a big V12 in here with the manual gearbox, but unfortunately it's not here just yet. But don't worry, I'll explain everything in a minute, but for now, I think we need to get the Murcielago off the trailer. And we're off. Where do we even start with this thing? I guess we can start off by going through the good things about this car. Don't worry, this won't take long. First off, it's a Murcielago, which means it comes with the signature Lamborghini doors. That also means it comes with the signature bat wing intakes. I for one sport a car where all the body panels seem all intact. It comes with a V12 engine, but well, this one doesn't, but they normally do. And it's a gated manual, or it was. It is a 2002 model Murcielago, which means it's the pre-LP Murcielago, if I'm right. But I thought that was a solely Lamborghini car, nothing to do with Germany in it at all. But it doesn't take much to start finding Audi logos on there. And pretty much, well, that's about it. But honestly, what a car this is. The feeling of just putting a door down like that, it's absolutely mental. As bad as the condition this car may be, and as green as the interior may be, this has been my dream since God knows how long, and to finally get my hands on one, it was meant to be. I believe it was meant to be. Are you going to be the first to drive the Murcielago?
First of 7 years.
First person of 7 years. Well, you're not going far. I'm pushing. Let's get it in the unit.
I don't know what you mean.
Then I think we need to explain to everyone the issues with this, which are fairly obvious to the point, but also why I bought this one over the other one that you might have seen, but we'll get onto that.
Oh, it's quite smooth.
So as Hannah starts guiding the Murcielago into the unit, let's get up the history of it using Car Vertical, who have sponsored today's video. I did do this report before buying the car, and it gave me a little more confidence. At the top of the report, there's all green ticks, there's been no mileage fraud, it's never been recorded as stolen, it's not been in an accident, and there's no outstanding finance on it. As I scroll through the report, I can see every time it's had an MOT test, a license plate change, or an ownership change. Here I can see all the mileage all lines up, and of course no damage, so it's looking good for the Murcielago. But that's not always the case with every car. Check out this report I did on an SLK. At the top you can see 2 amber lights that has been recorded as stolen and been in an accident. I can see here it was recorded stolen in the United Kingdom at some point. And then when I go further down, I can see it was a category N write-off. And what's even better than that, I can see the photos of when it was auctioned off at the car crash auction website. So to use Car Vertical to check your car or a car that you're potentially about to buy, click the link in the description box below, and with my link, you're gonna save yourself a bit of cash. So first off, welcome to the new unit. We've got ramps and we've got lights, and now we have a broken Murcielago. If you remember, this was the home of the E24 BMW, but you'll find out what's going on with that in the second channel. But for now, let me show you what's wrong with this Murcielago and how it's ended up like it. So first off, quite obviously, nothing is there, and it's covered in dust because nothing has been there for 7 years. But on the good side of things, we have it here, but it's not quite complete. All of this stuff is in boxes, there's bolts everywhere. Some stuff I'm not even sure has came from this car. This is gonna be an absolute nightmare to try and work out what goes where and what parts are actually missing. And unfortunately, that's just the start of it. I mentioned that the bodywork was okay, but the thing is, this car is wrapped, and it's wrapped green, but the actual colour of the car is supposed to be green. So on the door shuts and inside the door, it's this really nice sort of like pearlescent green. But when you start actually peeling back the wrap, we can see, well, it's far from green. These are the original 18-inch Lamborghini Murcielago alloys that comes with the car, but I don't know what's happened to them because they are all cracked up. I think they've been rattle canned and the heat's got to them, and well, they look pretty bad. And that's not all. You haven't seen the inside yet. And then moving inside the car, it absolutely stinks in here, and there's a lot of missing parts. For some reason, there's no instrument cluster, which is kind of worrying. And then there's little bits missing, like the interior light, and a few little trims and bits and bobs all over the place. So this, most definitely, is the next money pit. But other than that, she seems to be a good car. But now that leaves the question of how did hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of car end up like this? So the Murcielago came from Everyman Racing, and Everyman Racing is a track experience company where people pay money to experience a track in a supercar like the Murcielago. So it was taken off the road or track because of a chain rattle, and you guys may have heard it on some of your cars you own yourself. When a chain needs servicing on an engine, you may hear it on cold starts. When you start it up, you might get that little rattle kind of noise, and that's exactly what was going on with the Murcielago. And the chain on an engine is what keeps everything all in time, and if that becomes too loose, then it could knock the timing out, which could cause misfires and, well, severe engine damage. Now, parts of this I may get wrong because I don't know Murcielago engines, but I'm willing to learn. In fact, I'm gonna have to learn. To stop the chain going loose like this and causing that noise, you have chain tensioners, and these are tightened up through here, and they push these guides into the chain, making it nice and tight. This is what a tensioner looks like, and this is the old one that's came off the engine. This is really worn, and that's why the chain was probably making that noise. So the mechanic, who no longer works at Everyman Racing, attempted to fix this chain. To do this, you need to replace the chain, the tensioners, and all the chain guides. And whilst you're there, you might as well do the head gasket and a lot of seals. But when he put this engine back together and then turned it over by hand, it went tight, along with some other components he took apart as well. You only have to go as far as looking at the oil pump, which I think has been rebuilt, because when you turn this, it's nice and smooth, and then it hits a point and gets tight, which, yeah, definitely shouldn't be like that. So with him spending already hours rebuilding this engine, just for it to turn tight when he's built it all back together, the boss told him to just leave it there and get on with something else. He later left the company, leaving the Murcielago abandoned. But all of this doesn't explain why we're missing the instrument cluster inside the car, because that's got nothing to do with taking the engine out or doing anything with the timing chain. We do have an instrument cluster here, and when I bought the Murcielago, the deal was I would pay the asking price for the car on the basis that everything is there, and we're already finding things which are, well, not there. The chap at Everyman seems to think that the instrument cluster was removed out of the green one because either the green one or the yellow one, which we'll get onto in a minute, had an issue with them. And that issue was caused by one of the mechanics or someone that works at Everyman jumping the car with the terminals the wrong way round, therefore shorting out the car, and the only thing that he thought was broke were the instrument cluster. But whether that was on the green one or the yellow one, we don't know, and well, we're about to find out whether we get any power to this, because if it's been shorted out on this car, there could be loads of other things that are wrong with it. A second-hand instrument cluster, £2,500, and that's not even the correct one for the car. Right now, my daddy's taping up all the electrical terminals in the engine bay to make sure nothing shorts out when we connect the battery. Then I'm inside the car connecting up the instrument cluster. Then all we've got to do to see if this works is connect a jump pack to the battery. To do this, the wheel has to come off, and look at the size of that tyre. It's huge. But with the wheel off, I can take the arch lining out to now access the battery, which is weirdly behind it. So let's connect it up. Jumper pack. Don't know how they managed to jump this the wrong way, but we'll soon find out whether it has or not. And I've just got to find the key. Key found. Let's do it. Let's see if we've got any power whatsoever here. Oh, it smells so bad. Absolutely nothing. No lights, no buttons, no. Turns out there was a little thing amongst all the boxes, which was a kill switch. Right, that's on. Oh, fuel pump's on. We've got power. Okay, let me go again. Relay's doing everything, we're beeping. Oh, the radio's on, but yet no clocks. No. There's relays flipping, flying all over the shop. Windows just about work. Yeah, we definitely have no clocks. Oh no. With the battery pack connected and everything else working in the car, the next thing to turn to was the fuses. Don't damage the interior. My dad removed the seats and then we could access all of them behind it. But let me just speak to you about the choice I made between the two Murcielagos. So for those that watched the last video, you would have seen there was two Murcielagos, one yellow one and one green one. The yellow one was inside a trailer and we couldn't really get a full look of it, but the car was complete. It had an engine in, it had a gearbox in, and it didn't look in that bad of condition. So the reason I chose the green one over the yellow one was mainly the price. But moving back on the inside, we checked all the fuses and none had blown. So next thing we're gonna do is check we got power going to the clocks. And we did. Which means the problem lies with the instrument cluster. And the only way to find this out is to start stripping it apart. But moving the conversation back to the choice of the Murcielagos, quite obviously the yellow Murcielago was a fair amount more expensive than the green Murcielago. And the green one was still at the top of my budget, and I still definitely think I've probably paid over the odds for this car. And I'm pretty confident any normal person would definitely have not paid the price for this that I did. But the differences between me and a normal person is that we've got 500,000 of us, which can all chip away and try and help rebuild this thing. So I'm hoping all of us together as a collective can help me get this back on the road, because I'm gonna need that help. There's gotta be something broke on here. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be cheaper to repair this than to buy new clocks, or even second-hand clocks for £2,500. And what do you know, my dad has actually found something, and it just goes to show how good my eyes actually are. Just here you can see a bunch of resistors which are all burnt out, and those resistors to replace are probably going to be a couple of quid or so, maybe not even that. And if it is only that, we could be onto a winner. Hi. But that is just going to be one of many problems with this Murcielago, and it's going to be one hell of a journey. And just to think this all started from rebuilding an Audi TT in a restaurant car park is absolutely next level, and I could not do it without all of you guys. So thanks so much for all your support, subscribing, hitting the thumbs up button, or even just watching to this point in the video. We've got a lot to get on with, so thanks so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Oh, it stinks in there.